Okay guys, so this is 9-4, which is a completely new kind of concept for you. We're using those algebra tiles. We cut a lot of them before Christmas break, and if you'd like to have your own set, you may. There's also a website that can help you do these as well, and we're going to get into that later. All right, so here we go. This here is like our x squared. This is like our x, and this is like our c. So what the heck am I talking about? I'm afraid to use different markers because they bleed. Okay, so this is standard form. So that's the c, this is the x or the b, and this is the x squared or your a. All right, so back in chapter 8, we factored. So this is a way of factoring. Go ahead and write the word factor. And we would multiply these two, and then we did this like grouping. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to factor. So we're talking about these perfect square trinomials. And you can see here that in order to make a square, this is my x squared for my equation here. And then this here needs to be divided by 2 or divided equally to make this perfect square. So that's why there's 3 on this side, 3 on this side. And our job is to figure out how many c's fit here. And then when I do this, you can easily see that it is 3 by 3. These are important numbers, so we're going to get to that in a minute. So our c is equal to the 3 times your 3, or 9. So you're trying to find this missing area there. So completing the square, that's all it is. Completing the square. We just did it. All right. Now, how do we factor from that? Well, there's a couple ways you can do it, but I do like it where, because it's going to be the same thing here or here because of the square, but I'll do it anyway. So we need these factors. This was also 9, by the way. If we take out an x here and 3 c's here, so this is an x, c, c, c. You can take out an x here and 3 c's here, and we just factored out x plus 3, x plus 3, because there's 3 c's. Now the other way to write this would be x plus 3 squared. So you've just completed the squared and found the factors. So let's go over that again. So what we did is we set up this little table. We had to divide the x's equally to make a square, and we found out how many we needed to fill in here, which was 9. Our solution was x plus 3 squared, and that's where these two things come from. And it really talks about how that is just the 6 divided by 2. Now, you don't have this written, and I need you to write it. We found the roots. So anytime you were talking about these parabolas, that's what these are, you're always trying to find those roots. There's some sometimes called solutions, zeros, or your x-intercepts. So if you graph this on Desmos, you could see it. That's great. Sometimes you don't have that. Sometimes they want you to fill out this or this on an assignment on your EOC. So, how do we do that again? You take your solution, since they're the same, I only need to do it once, and set it equal to 0. So set to 0, meaning that's why they come up with that, and solve for x. Take away 3, take away 3, x equals -3. So, when I would graph this, you would see that it hits the x-axis at a 3. Try it on Desmos. Okay, next thing I want you to pay attention to. Hopefully you can see that these two are opposites, or up here. Those are opposites. So just kind of keep that in mind. Next page. Now your next page is not going to look just like mine. Just kind of get what I've got written on yours. So we have a blank one here. So we have our x squared, which is just the box. It's not very squarey. And then 8x. Again, to make a perfect square, this needs to be divided equally. So I'm going to put 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 4 here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So what I'm trying to find is this area right here. We know that this is 4. This is 4. So hopefully you can see that makes this array of 4 by 4. And if you would count them, C would equal 16. Again, we just multiplied 4 by 4. Or 4 squared. Okay. How many? So we add 16 to it. Then my 2, like I said, yours doesn't look like mine, but similar, so just kind of fill it in. What do we need to take out here? An x and 4. We're taking out an x and 4 c's. So this becomes x plus 4, x plus 4. Another way to write that would be x plus 4 squared. Again, yours does not look like mine. I understand that. What is on the edge? Don't care. What I need you to do is to find the roots again. So to find those roots, I'm going to say x plus 4 equals 0. X equals negative 4. So they're going to want the C. They're going to want that 16. They're going to want this part and this part. So there's 3 parts to this. Okay. Down here, I know this is what your notes look like, and I want you to get rid of that. Get rid of that negative there. It shouldn't be there at all. We're going to kind of rewrite that anyway. But I'll get to that in a minute. So let's try to figure out if we can make our own boxes. So we have our x squared, and how many x's on each side to make this a perfect square? Hopefully you said 6, so we're going to do 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you did it, so how many would I have here? You should see that I have 6 by 6, right? Which is equal to 36. 6 by 6. So my C is equal to 36. My equations, my factors would be x. I should have said this before. I forgot about that negative. So this is going to be negative 6's. All of those would be negatives. So negative times negative will give us a positive, but this would be negative 6 squared. Now let's find the root. X minus 6 equals 0. Add 6, and x equals 6. Oop, running out of room. Okay, next one. Again, we've got the x squared. We have 24 here. Oh my gosh. So instead of writing 12 by 12, I'm just going to write 12 by 12 like that. And so you can easily see that that's going to equal 144. So C equals 144. This is a plus, so x plus 12 squared. And then if I would solve it, again, you could probably see that's going to be our opposite of whatever that is. And here's all of our solutions. That's what you need to do. This one is, I'm going to give you a different equation. Let's change this to a negative 8x. A negative 8x. All right, so the same thing. So you guys should know, so we have our x squared. And then to divide this equally to make a square, it would be 4 and 4. So negative 4 times negative 4, which would give us a positive 16. So c equals 16. Our equations would be x minus 4 squared, because there's two of them, this side and this side. And then x equals a positive 4 because it's the opposite. All right. Now, this is what I really want you to know. So, let's do this. So, in parentheses, b divided by 2 squared equals c. Make sure you highlight that or whatever you want, bubble it, whatever you want to do to make sure your eye goes there. The other one would be, so you have your two equations, and I'm going to write them both just because. So this would be x plus or minus, because we don't know if it's positive or negative, b divided by 2. No squared, x plus or minus b divided by 2. And that will get your two factors. So that's your factors. These are kind of fun, actually. Like I said, we'll do this again on a computer so you can kind of see those, maybe get kind of more used to it. Or maybe you can kind of just see the pattern on your own and make your own blocks. But I think the visual is very helpful. I think that's it. You have an assignment today. It's a worksheet that goes with the Google form.